Good afternoon. Welcome to the October 14th edition of Sports on Sunset. I'm James Jericho.
I'm Jeremy Paul.
Let's get started. This is week 7 of NFL. Let's get some quick takes out of the way. Well, Peyton Hillis, Brady Quinn, Romeo Crennel. Kansas City hired Scott Pioli to remake the New England Patriots out west. Instead, he remade the Cleveland Browns.
Josh Freeman and Vincent Jackson are going to be a great pair for the rest of their careers, as long as Vincent Jackson doesn't get busted for steroid abuse.
Not that everything was ever done right during this last decade for the Oakland Raiders, but one of the brighter ideas was by a former coach who went up to Darren McFadden and said, look, we will add plays that you like specifically to the playbook. Please draw your favorite plays from Arkansas, and we'll call them. I wonder what Hugh Jackson thinks when he sees one of the game's most dynamic running backs flounder in what is now the worst running offense in the NFL. He has got to be sitting back there, taking that last check from the trust fund of Al Davis and just smoking a fatty, thinking, what in the blue hell did they do to that guy?
The Minnesota Vikings need help on defense. If you want to apply to be on the Minnesota Vikings defense, go to Minnesota, look for a boat. They will be there. They need help badly.
Are you sure that's not just a one-game deal?
Definitely not.
Okay. Because
the first game of the year, same thing.
Before the season began, I was telling people that I thought it was going to be a Green Bay-Baltimore Super Bowl. Green Bay still has time, and they can correct themselves from some of their foibles at the start of the year. I mean, last year the Giants didn't start off strong. Baltimore cannot stop the run. I mean, there's a saying amongst people in the game that if you can run in a game for about 150 yards, you're pretty much in good position to win. Dallas had 150 rushing yards today in the middle of the third quarter. It is a miracle that the Ravens won.
I'd like to send a personal message of thanks to John Harbaugh. Thank you for proving that Eli Manning is just that good. Because seriously, he dismantled y'all. What the hell was that?
You might have been thinking, John, because I talked about Baltimore's Jim, I think.
Jim, either one.
If you're a Harbaugh, you're on Eli Manning's shit list.
Yes.
Final take. Everybody is 3-3 in the AFC East, and there is not one of those teams that I would want to play on. I mean, you could make an argument for or against any one of them. New England doesn't play any defense. The Jets have all kinds. They lack a lot of skill talent. They have a horrible offensive line, and they lost Revis for the year.
They also have Tim Tebow.
Oh, Jesus. And I don't mean that as a joke. You know what that means. Get ready. And I'm being very serious. Tim Tebow leading the New York Jets into the playoffs.
In Russia.
That is a fair, but that is, oh, Jesus.
Starting running back for the New York Jets, Tim Tebow.
Hey, you know what? If it worked for Denver last year, I swear to God. But that's not our topic for this week. We do want to talk football, but I've noticed something.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. 2 years ago, everybody was laughing a hearty laugh at the NFC West.
Pointing and laughing.
Pointing, laughing till laughing wasn't even fun anymore. That kind of painful laughing. Because their only playoff team, the division winner, was the 7-9 Seattle Seahawks. This was back in 2010. The whole division was just dog crap on a plate. I don't think you want to play anybody in that division now. It's a very balanced division. I mean, don't get me wrong, one is 3-3, but the rest are 4-2. But you don't want to face Seattle, which beat New England today. You don't want to face Arizona, which beat New England earlier in Philadelphia. San Francisco, although they lost today, the Giants were in the NFC title game last year. And the St. Louis
champions.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl, the eventual Super Bowl champs. And the St. Louis Rams, they're not a joke anymore. They are a fighting 3-3. Which leads me to say, what is the formula to get a winning football team again? And I think it's counter to what so many people out there are saying. You think the NFL is a passing league? There is nothing that you can say about the NFC West that says this is a pass-happy team, with the possible exception of a couple things in Arizona. So with that said, I have a thesis. The thesis is that for all the crazy pass-happy stuff everybody keeps saying in the NFL, oh, it's a passing league, the fundamentals absolutely have not changed. You build your program by running the football and stopping the run. Agree or disagree?
Very much agree. I'm a Bears fan. That's what you're supposed to do.
Why do you think that this... I have my own opinions, but why do you think that for the last 3 years, and this is not just drunks in the sports bar, we're talking about paid analysts who are saying, no, this is a passing league. You throw all over the place. It's arena football. Why is that the case? Why do people assume that?
Why do they assume that it's a passing league?
Yeah.
Because last year, 3 people threw for over 5,000 yards. So they're assuming that every team can do this, and they can't.
What happened? Do you recall the 3 teams New England had?
The three quarterbacks were Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady.
Okay. Tom Brady, loser in the Super Bowl. Rodgers made it. Did the Saints make it? I don't recall.
The Saints?
Yeah, you know what? They did make it. Well, life goes in cycles. Let's talk about some of these teams. All 3 of the 4 of them have what you would call traditional franchise running backs. Steven Jackson, St. Louis. Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Frank Gore, very underrated Frank Gore.
Don't forget about Brandon Jacobs. Even though he hasn't played this year, he's still on the 49ers.
Right. But that,
two-time Super Bowl champion, Brandon Jacobs.
But until he plays, I can't count him yet. Which brings me to the 4th team, Arizona, which is down to their 3rd string running back due to injuries.
Yeah.
So they would have been doing the same damn thing. Arizona has to go counterculture. They still have Larry Fitzgerald, so they're going to wind up passing. You have seen a lot of pro football from your vantage point this year. Which defensive philosophy among the 4 teams in the NFC West strikes you as, wow, that is the best concept?
Funny enough, Seattle.
Why so?
Well, the way they're running their defense is how Carroll ran the USC defense.
Right.
And I don't know.
But you don't like USC?
No, but I can admire a team's defense when they're doing things right.
Okay, so go ahead.
Sending people to the ball, and that's what you have to do. You send people to the ball, and you hit them.
By the way, the Seattle Seahawks, #1 defensive unit in the National Football League this year. 258 yards a game, folks. Try winning with that. Yeah. Also, #4 overall in passing, 192 yards a game, which means that they are only allowing 66 rushing yards a game.
Yeah.
Jesus, that is incredible. Now, for me, I was taking a look through it. Their defensive coordinator's name is Gus Bradley, but I think we're in agreement that it's more or less Pete Carroll.
Gus Bradley?
Yeah, but I think we're more or less in agreement that this is Pete Carroll's vision.
Yeah.
At USC, he ran the defense even though he was the head coach.
And he also paid his players.
Yeah.
So, same
well,
thing.
at least one.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. The SC Trojans had the Wild Bunch. On Wild Bunch 2, they called it, their defensive line. I've always been a Chris Clemens fan on their defensive end.
Okay.
But they also have a defensive tackle, Brandon Mabane. 18 solo tackles as a defensive tackle, right in the middle.
Right.
74 combined tackles. in 6 games. He is getting in on at least 10 tackles.
That's called somebody doesn't respect their defense.
Because they're trying to run up the middle,
Yeah.
and he's like, I ain't having it.
Yeah. But that also says to me that your linebackers need help. Because if they don't respect the middle, that means they're expecting the first wave, expecting to get past the first wave, and just blowing past the second wave.
So you're under the impression that they might have a weakness in the linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay. Second team, let's go to the defending champions of the division, or defending division winners, the Niners.
Right.
Number 2 overall defense. They're number 1 and 2 out there. 262 total yards.
Although they got treated today.
Oh yes, I noticed. But we'll just for the moment, we're going to go with the consistency.
Yeah.
They shut down the run, and their middle line. They funnel everything towards their middle linebacker Patrick Lewis, who can also Willis, who can also cover. They also do something which I absolutely love. This is what the Raiders in their heyday used to do. The mean old Raiders. Pressure the quarterback without the blitz. They are fantastic at it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I don't know how they come up with these stats. ESPN is reporting that 82% of the time on passing down their pass plays, the 49ers will not blitz.
See, I don't think they're playing a cover 2 either. I think they might be playing a
Define cover 2 for people who aren't.
Cover 2 is when the 2 safeties cover basically half of the field themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, the linebacker usually covers the third in the middle. So, like the middle linebacker covers the middle, third, and the two safeties cover the outside, basically outside quadrants of the halves of the field.
Arizona intrigues me.
Okay. How so?
Because when they originally hired Ken Wisenhunt, who came over from the Pittsburgh Steelers, everybody assumed Pittsburgh was going to be Arizona was going to be Pittsburgh on both sides of the ball. They haven't been able to be on the offensive side, but they blitz like hell out of a 3-4. And they will actually, I've been breaking down tape, they will send 6 people, as many as 6 on a blitz. Ooh, that is incredible.
Are they overloading, or is it just 6 straight?
They come from all angles.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's not quite Buddy Ryan, but it's
no, absolutely. Nice. What I like about this defense now, what have you noticed watching Arizona, or have you not?
I haven't seen much of Arizona.
Here's what I know about Arizona. They are strong in the middle. Even though they run a 3-4, they don't have a traditional over-the-top defensive tackle.
Right.
But they do. But Darnell Dockett, he can play. I mean, he's listed as a defensive end, but because they're throwing everything from all these angles, they just list him as end, but they line him in the middle. And they also line Calais Campbell, who plays inside. The other thing that's really important to the Arizona defense is their safeties. Remember a couple of years ago, they traded their big corner, Rogers Cromartie, to Philly, and everybody thought that was such a horrible idea, trading your shutdown corner. Smart move. Why? Even though it was a risk to get Kevin Cobb, if you're blitzing that much, if you're sending your corners on a blitz, you need safeties that can cover so much more to make up for all of that.
Right. And you can't really cover as far as zone.
And I tell you what, safeties, Adrian Wilson and Kerry Rhodes, they got it going on. They're great.
Yeah.
So before we get to the final team, which one of these 4 teams that you've seen in that division do you think is in it for a threat now? Because they're all pretty bunched up and they're all good. They're strong. They hurt people.
Well, the obvious threat is San Francisco.
Okay.
That's the obvious threat. They're the ones that are closest to being, well, they're probably going to win the division again. St. Louis, I believe, is going to fall apart. Arizona is one head injury away from losing every single game for the rest of the year.
Well, that leaves Seattle.
Exactly. But they're not going to overcome San Francisco.
Well, they're all 4-2 right now, except for St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you something. They always say, "What's the team you don't want to face in the playoffs?" I don't want to face any of those teams because they hurt you.
Yeah, they do. But people know this. I'm a Bears fan. The Bears have beaten the Rams.
By the way, do any of these teams remind you of the way the Bears run defense?
San Francisco.
The Bears blitz.
Yeah, I know. But San Francisco, well, the Bears blitz every once in a while. They primarily started running sending just 4 because Julius Peppers demands a double team, and Israel Adonijah is just left to run amok as much as he can.
Let's talk about St. Louis for just a moment more. They're 3-3, which is last, even though everybody else is 4-2. The thing that really catches me before I go into the actual players, you know who their defensive coordinator was supposed to be this year? Greg Williams.
Really?
The guy who got suspended all year
Oh, yeah, that's right.
because of the New Orleans Saints bounty scandal, which means the Rams were this much closer to be even angrier and playing with that much more of a chip on their shoulder. I love that because Jeff Fisher has done a fantastic job of organizing and actually just flat out saying, look, we're no longer the greatest show on turf. We're going to hurt people.
Well, Steven Jackson is a man.
Oh, I love watching him run. I love watching him run.
But he has maybe 2 years left in them legs.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't figure out St. Louis's defense yet because they're actually countering what the other 3 teams have done. The reason that people are liking them is because they've solved their pass defense issues.
Not so much.
Well, I mean, not a complete solve, but they really love Cortland Finnegan.
Yeah.
And they have a rookie, Janoris Jenkins, on the other side that they're really high on. What that allows them to do, if you can cover people instead of just having horrible corners where the quarterback can go pitch and catch all day, it is timing, the whole thing about getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
So now you have their defensive ends, your Chris Long, and I forget the other guy's name. Now they have 9 sacks so far, and they're only 7 weeks of the year. So they're getting to the quarterback now.
Their main issue is their quarterback, Bradford. He has issues with throwing interceptions. The Bears should not have gotten 2 pick sixes on them in that game.
Yeah, that may very well be the case. But again, how do you rebuild your program? Run the football.
Yeah.
Stout defense.
You also have their pass defense. Alshon Jeffrey is a rookie. I'm not saying this is about just the Rams pass defense. This is every defense in the league. People need to have taller cornerbacks. And if everyone is going to be susceptible to a 6'5" wide receiver that can just extend an arm and catch the ball over the 5'9"
You don't think Cortland Finnegan is significantly tall enough?
Not at all.
Okay.
What is he, 6'2"?
I didn't write down the numbers.
6'1" or 6'2"?
The articles I was reading was saying that they got taller on defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's not tall enough. Alshon Jeffrey 6'5", Brandon Marshall 6'4", and they were just taking advantage. And that's with Jay Cutler, who can't throw accurate. Regarding
St. Louis and all the other teams, we said which one was a threat now. Which one is a threat for the long haul?
Threat for the long haul, provided they get a running back that will be there for the rest of Sam Bradford's career.
The Rams.
I can honestly say that because the 49ers are going to lose Frank Gore. They're going to lose Brandon Jacobs. So they're not going to have a running game. And Smith
it almost sounds like you're saying whichever one of these 2 gets to the running back first.
Yeah, Smith is not going to be he's not a long-term solution at quarterback. They're going to be drafting a quarterback in 3 years. The Cardinals are still looking for a quarterback because Cobb is not the answer. Seattle might have solved their quarterback problems, but Marshawn Lynch will probably tear an ACL soon. The way he runs, he's a beast, but he's going to hurt himself.
Now I've been saying all along, run, but you don't run the flying wedge anymore. Eventually, somebody's going to have to pass.
Yeah.
Which one of these teams? I think Arizona is the obvious choice, but which one of these teams do you think can create a passing game that's sufficient enough to make themselves a threat in the long haul? You still have to be able to pass.
No, and I still say the team that's built for the future, the Rams. Mainly because they made a great draft pick who probably won't be ready until next year. I can't remember the guy's first name.
I didn't know you were going there, so I can't. Yeah.
But this kid is in the mold of these tall wide receivers, and he's extremely fast. Think of a more sane yet not completely intelligent Randy Moss. He's just as fast, he's just as tall, he can catch the ball. He just hasn't learned the playbook apparently. So he's not getting into games. And the Rams have 2 other wide receivers that are at least 6'3". So they're built to catch the long ball. They're built to catch all they need is the Wes Welker type. They're finished. Their passing game will be complete as long as they can protect Bradford. What's been the problem? They can't protect him yet. They don't have an Orlando Pace in their offensive line. They don't have somebody that can protect them yet. And that's their issue. They need to solve that issue first. They're built for the run. They're not built to protect the quarterback that's going to throw the bomb 60 yards when they need a Hail Mary pass.
With that said, let's change topics. Tell them what's on your mind, my man.
I've been waiting on this probably my entire boxing career life as a fan.
Really?
I want to list a few of my favorite quitters in sports history. Oliver McCall.
Yeah.
People remember Oliver McCall. He had the crying during the bout before he quit. Roberto Duran. Yeah.
That's
no mas. That happened against Sugar Ray Leonard. I've done other sports. Barry Sanders famously quit after 10 strong years, 1,300 yards away from breaking Walter Payton's record. Why? Because he didn't like the coach. You can say whatever you want, Barry. That was the coach's fault. Had it been Wayne Fonts, you'd still be playing. Right now, you'd still be playing for the Detroit Lions. Even at the age of 40, he'd still be playing. Goldberg quit on the WWE because...
So did Lesnar in that one match, if you think about it.
But he quit because he was tired of being the face when he didn't have to. Cheryl Miller, she quit, even though she could have endured horrible knee surgery and went overseas to play basketball. No, she quit basketball to become a TV analyst. It's probably a smart decision. I bring this up because whenever someone, an athlete, quits on their sport, they get made fun of. They get called a fag, something other of the like. Well, I dare you to do that now because there's an openly gay man who's a boxer, and he's damn good. His name's Orlando Cruz. People, I want you, I dare you to walk up to this man and call him anything other than Mr. Orlando Cruz. I dare you. Mention his sexuality. He doesn't care. He'll beat you senseless. And then, you might feel funny afterwards because you just got beat up by a gay man. It's a challenge to all your masculinity that you believe exists.
Yes, I am a homo.
Yeah. He will beat you. He's like, did you ever watch Police Academy where they go into the Blue Oyster Bar and there's a bunch of bikers? Think of that. Next time you say, man, that fag can't beat me up. Yeah, he can. He can. So, Orlando Cruz, I salute you. Kick all the asses, man. Kick all the asses. As a boxing fan to a boxer.
I want to jump off of the sports stuff for just a moment here, and I also know that I'm going to fail on one aspect. This is going to sound political, and I have no intention of it sounding political. I've been of the opinion for quite a while that your government is lying to you. There is no economic recovery. And a lot of good people, particularly over the last 4.5 years, that's why I'm not trying to make it political. I'm not trying to argue. A lot of good people over the last 4.5 years have struggled. And some more are joining the ranks of the unemployed this week. And it is my deeply held wish, prayer, that they don't struggle. I believe that bad times do not last forever. I do latch on to those sayings about how it is darkest before the dawn and joy cometh in the morning, those sort of things. And I believe in myself, which is one of the reasons why I don't join the doom and gloom, but I am a realist. A number of my friends are now in the process of reinventing their life. And to those people, I wish them good luck and Godspeed. It's a hell of a thing when over 100 people that you know go on the unemployment. So I want them to know that I have their back. Unfortunately, I can't do it monetarily. But hopefully, at some point in the near future, we'll run into each other. And the memories up until that final day will be what we talk about. And like I said, it will get better at some points. But I do have my friends on the line right now. We'll see you guys next week. I'm James.